Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. So multiple viewer requests, hybrids, hybrid stringing. What's the best hybrid? Well, that's kind of a difficult question to answer. So I'm going to actually break that up a bit. I'm going to start by telling you my top hybrids for the various categories. Okay? So I'm actually going to start by age. Now, usually like a 12-year-old who's high intermediate advanced, who's breaking the synthetics, who needs a little more power spin from the racket, I will put them into a hybrid. But I will put them into a very specific hybrid, one that hopefully won't affect their arm very much, but will give them the extra spin, power, and feel that they need, and hopefully make the strings last a little longer. Okay, so let's get started. So you're a 12-year-old. This is your first time using any type of poly on your racket. What do I choose? I got to choose something that won't ruin your career, right? So I go and I give you this. I take one of the thinner strings out there, this Ace, right? 112. So super, super thin, right? And I put this on your main. And then I cross it with Gamma TNT 16, right? And I string it at anywhere from 48 to 52 pounds, depending on how big you are, how much power you need, what you need. But this is my go-to for your first entree into a hybrid poly. Okay, now I've spoken to coaches and I tell them why I do this. They've tried it themselves and they think this is one of the perfect combinations. You go super thin to get the feel, you get the synthetic on the cross for tension maintenance and kind of the old feel, right? I mean, you could easily use Hybrid G 20 gauge or something like that, Torbite 20 gauge, but this is just my go-to string, the Ace 112, and then cross it with this, okay, or any type of synthetic 16 that's, you know, slightly on the higher grade, or use like a Solinco 20 gauge, Hybrid G, Torbite 20 gauge, and then if you really like Solinco, cross it with the Vanquish 16, but this is my go-to. All right, with this combination, when they start breaking the crosses only, then I keep going here. Like, I may change this cross to slightly thicker cross or slightly more durable cross, but I would keep this on the main until they broke the main. Okay, so that's, you know, now I would do also the same thing with women, because if you've never tried a poly blend before, this would be a great one, right? It won't kill your arm. You'll get a taste of what it's like to use a poly, and it's pretty much great off the bat. As soon as I string this and you take it out to the court, you kind of get the full effect already. There's kind of no break-in time with it because it's so thin and it starts to react immediately. Okay, so that's, you know, kids, women, first entree into hybrids, right? We could easily change this to gut too. I mean, if we took this and put it on with this, right, that makes it premium already. You know, if you're that person and you want your kid to have the best, try it like this, right? Or if you're a woman and you want kind of best of both worlds, best feel and best spin. You pretty much can't get better than that. All right, that might break fast if you're good, but you pretty much can't get better spin than that, or better feel or power right there. Okay, or do this, right? Put gut on the main, put that on the cross, right? You'll get good power, right? You'll get good everything. All right, so for you intermediates out there, if you're breaking strings, you want more from that string, what do? Well, I mean, mostly everybody uses this on the main, right? And then just whatever you want on the cross, okay? So this is actually, you know, some people say it's lively, some people say it's dead. I think it's on the deader side because there has been so many more developments in polys these days that make it softer, make it slide better, make it have more feel. That, you know, this is great marketing. This string has great marketing. Pros use it because they probably get sponsored by it. So, but there's a, you know, this is a top poly, but there's so many more options now. So what I recommend for you guys on the intermediate side is, so I constantly hear like my strings get loose so fast, right? So fast. The one poly that holds up, I would say the 20 hours, maybe a little more of tension maintenance, is this 4G. So it's made by Luxilon. It holds tension well, right? That's what it's made for. So you put this on the main and you'll hopefully get, you know, to that 10, 20 hour mark of good tension maintenance before either it breaks or falls off a cliff, right? In terms of losing tension. Blend this with like a Vanquish if you want. NXT from Wilson, this Velocity right here, right? I mean, you guys know I don't like NXT, so I'd rather have something more crisp like that. You know, even though it's a price point string, these two would go well together. It'll hold tension a good long time for you. Now, for those of you who play at a high level and don't really notice that tension maintenance, the tension loss, and you just want something that has more feel and spin, and you probably started at a lower tension anyways, you know, anywhere from 50 on down, 48 maybe on an average, use this Hybrid G. Put that on the main, right? You'll definitely get more power, get more feel. It'll actually pocket the ball a little more and then knock it out of there. Try it with Vanquish, which is made by Solinco. So if you're sponsored by Solinco, use this and choose Vanquish for your other string. Or else use, you know, one of my favorites, either, you know, Velocity or Gamma TNT, right? Like, it'll all feel good. It'll all feel good. More power, more spin, more pocketing, right? So, but if predictable is what you want, like you don't need it to hold 20 hours of tension, or you don't need the springiness and the power of the Hyper G. I like this string. It's Mr. Predictable to me, right? It's somewhere in the middle, right? This Solinco Confidential. It holds tension very well. When you strike the ball, you pretty much can predict what's gonna happen, right? I call it Mr. Predictability, right? You strike it hard, it'll do what you want. You give it a little touch and feel shot, it'll give you what you want. All right, it won't go haywire. I don't know, you guys like this string. It's not so predictable to me. Sometimes it takes off on me for some reason. So that's why I call this more predictable, right? So something a little more neutral, kind of do what you want it to do, at least for my game, right? And then again, you can cross this with, you know, Gamma TNT, head velocity. You know, if you want to go premium with it, try that Gamma Professional on the cross. Go these two, right? You'll have a good, predictable feeling string, okay? So, but try that. Try that on the main. You know, see what happens. I think you will like that. Now, if you want to take your game up another notch and feel what the pros feel, then you got to go Champ's Choice, right? Roger string, right? Try putting this on the poly part on the main and then that gut on the cross first, right? Unless you want to jump in head first and do what Roger does and put the gut on the main and put that poly on the cross. I actually did that on my rackets side by side. Like I did one with the poly on the main and then I did the other racket with the gut on the main. And what I felt was the one with the gut on the main felt like it was about 5 pounds looser. So I definitely got more spring off of it, got more feel off of it. I definitely felt that gut more. So with that ALU rough on the main, you felt the hardness of that poly more. So if that's what you're after, that's what's going to give you a little more durability, right? With the gut on the main, you'll get more playability, okay? It'll break faster, but it'll definitely play better, all right? So another choice would be the Babolat version of it, right? The RPM VS, right? Very, very similar to this, right? The same thing, okay? Now, this comes black string with black string. So the RPM is black, and then they dye the gut to make it black also. So it looks, you know, like a full bed of black, right? When they add that dye to the black, it alters that gut a bit. It firms it up a bit. I noticed it, and you know, a lot of people noticed it too. So they would prefer to get the RPM themselves and then to get a pack of gut in the natural to get it feeling a little softer. So that's just a warning to you, okay? Because this comes black with black. I mean, if you're used to that and you want a slightly firmer feel, this is totally fine. It's just a little dye on that color. But when you do anything to you know, to any strings, adding dye or coloring it, whatever, it does alter it a bit. It does firm it up a bit. With the gut, anytime you put gut with anything, it's going to be good. So if you're going to ramp your game up, you know, a lot of you people tell me you're a 4.0 to a 4.5 and you want to, you know, raise your game up, and what hybrid would help you. Try gut. Try gut on the cross. Try gut on the main, depending on if you break strings or not. It's definitely a treat for you just to see how well you play. And I would suggest, you know, if you're sensitive to tension loss, go here, right? It'll hold tension pretty well for a decent amount of time, right? If you want Mr. Predictability, go here, right? Give you the feel, give you the pop, give you some power, right? That's more predictable, right? If you want soft, go here, right? If you want more spin, you want to shape the ball a little better, try to hit through people, this would be a good combo right here, okay? So that's my top 3 depending on what you're wanting from a hybrid. You know, put gut in it, all right? Put gut in the main if you can. Try it once, all right? So let me know what you think. I mean, like I said, I always say this with string. It's very personal. You ask 1,000 people, you're gonna get 1,000 different answers. But you should get maybe one string that a majority of them will, you know, agree to. And that's probably gonna be this string right here, the gut. All right? Thanks for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.